You all so much for joining us here tonight, Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. And thank you to my lovely daughter Amber Lee and Chris Geo of Truth Frequency Radio that made that so precious, beautiful intro. Ooh, I love hearing that. Anyways, hope you all are having a lovely fall day, getting a glimpse of the vibrant colors and beauty all around us. A new season on the way. But tonight, we have an awesome show in store for you with Tobias Lars, the Pharmacy of the Mind. We are going to be talking about the ultimate natural pharmacy, naturally created DMT, serotonin, melatonin, endorphins, adrenaline versus synthetic drug company pharmaceuticals. Which do you think is better? Why and how is our natural pharmacy so much more powerful and man-made synthetic drugs, and how can you let the natural life force pharmacy support and function for you? Excuse me, I think I need some life force function in my throat right now. Anyways, Tobias Lars, of course, is author of Listening to the Sun, our special Thursday night guest, and you can get your copy of Listening to the Sun if you have not done so yet at soulcounseling.com. He also put out an awesome video this week by the same name. Hey, what do you think? That Pharmacy of the Mind, the ultimate natural pharmacy, is his latest video on Course of Awakening, which you can find at courseofawakening.com. So if you have any questions or comments, have something to add to our conversation tonight, please give us a call at 402-237-2525. And if you'd like to join us on the text chat, that's over at truthbrigade.com. You know, the Pharmacy of the Mind is an awesome topic. I'm glad we're going to cover that because we have been trained to believe when we're sick, we need to run to the doctor. Oh, we caught some strange disease that we need some man-made synthetics to cure us from. And in actuality, dis-ease is simply the opposite of ease. And where does that come from? Well, to experience things such as disease, troubles, or what people would call evil, we must first think it. So the way to get out of these habits is to change our stinking thinking and trust our body that God so perfectly created to do its job instead of taking drugs and masking the symptoms, which of course add to a whole other host of problems as it's suppressing your immune system. You're just adding further damage. So of course the goal here is to get back to that natural state and enjoy the miracles, the abundant miracles God gave to us. But it's that time, so we are going to be right back after this short break with Tobias Lars on Truth Brigade Radio. Right, welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. If you would like to join us for the text chat tonight, that's over at truthbrigade.com. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to give us a call at 402-AFR-2525. It is Thursday. We are joined by our special guest, Tobias. Tobias Lars, author of Listening to the Sun and Awakening Souls, courseofawakening.com or innerbodyawakening.com. So good to have you here tonight, Tobias. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back. And Thor is a good guy, so I'm honored. Thank you. And Thor is a good man, good guy, and so I'm honored to be on Thor's Day, Thursday.
Yeah, it's a cool day, isn't it?
It's a holy day, too, you know, in the whole Vedic tradition and Indian, yoga, Sanskrit, Vedas tradition. Thursday is their holiest day, and not Sunday, but Thursday. So
interesting. I never knew why I always like Thursdays. Hey, good news. I didn't go to jail today.
I was going to ask you. There's some news. I was like, great, you're here. I love that.
So it is a very good day. Woohoo!
Anything you want to tell us, or did you tell everyone in the intro? I wasn't able to.
There's really nothing to talk about. Just, hurry up and wait, stand in line, grab a number, get another date. I could be here for years. But,
yes.
Of course, I'm actually bilocating from the UK, according to which blog you read. But,
Oh, that's cool. I like. Well, that's awesome, Christie, and I know there's lots of us who are sending you actual physical vibrations of don't get yourself into quicksand by those who like to trap us, and lots of good prayers, I know, and just powerful vibrations, which is, that's really effective. People think, well, science counts, splitting the atom in the giant CERN accelerator there in Switzerland. That's what's real, that prayer doesn't really work, or holding good thoughts. Well, of course it does. It's like when we walk into a room, you feel the vibrations. So if you get all these people sending you vibrations or energy or thoughts that are positive, of course it works. And we're going to learn this more and more collectively, too, as a whole world.
Definitely works. And I just want to thank you and Joy, Tobias, for your prayers, and really everyone listening tonight, because really, the positive energy you're feeding me is what has sustained me, mostly. So I thank you.
That's beautiful, and it's very powerful. And, I was not responsible for that prayer that sent that jar off the shelf that knocked some sense into your head.
Well, thank you. Hey, did you see the pictures? 10 days, I'm almost healed.
That's great.
Yeah,
Good.
No more blood, broken bones, bruises going away, and yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking I look like Lord Thor or something, but
it's in these times of extremity, if you will. When we're in crisis, the word crisis is Christ, is the cross, the crossroads. When we are being crushed by our crisis at the crossroads, that's usually when we can let go enough. I heard a line in my head this week about writing a song called "A Broken Heart is an Open Heart, and it's a great place to start." It's sort of like we re-jump-start our lives during crises, and that's why everyone says 2 years later, after the cancer, after the divorce, after the horrible thing that happens, somehow later we understand. And often people say it was the best thing that ever happened to me, which while you're going through it, you're like, why does God hate me? Why is he punishing me? But that's not anyway, I just wanted to say that. So there's something beautiful, I'm going to just say it for you, Christie. I hope I'm not trespassing on you. There's something powerful shifting for you inside you that will set you upon your truer, it's all true, truer Truth Brigade mission. That's what I'm going to say. Did I lose you?
Oh, yeah. No, I agree. I just, when someone finds out, please let me know. I'm tired of being the last to know here. We're working on it. We're peeling the layers of the cocoon, right? I think Chris Gio called me Caterpillar Christie.
Yeah. And you're in good company. There's a teacher that we resonate with certain people at certain times in our lives. Oh my God, I totally agree with that, or that makes so much sense, and we sort of feel I'm not the only crazy one, with my particular way of feeling and noticing and seeing the world through my reality glasses. Well, there's a spiritual teacher that I love, and he was just saying when he was young, very young, teenager boy, all these psychics or like astrology or, spiritual teachers would tell him, you're here to do this kind of groundbreaking work. And he would go, what are you talking about? I don't want to do that. I just want to play football, And so he said that too. He said the exact same thing. You're in good company, Christie. Why am I the last to know? All these people I meet, and somehow I run into strangers who prophecy and tell me, You're here to help do this on the planet. So you're in good company, Christie, if you don't know and you feel like you're the last one to know, okay?
Right on.
Yeah.
So we're part of the cool club now, right?
Well, you don't have to feel as crazy. You just go, oh, okay, this happened to other people too. I'm not totally crazy.
Yeah, no, that helps a lot. Thank you.
Yeah. I still want to know.
Yes, I want to know everything now. Now. Yes.
Right.
Okay, well, goodness. You know, speaking of wanting to know everything now, of course, you know, the healthcare debate and everyone talking about healthcare and drugs and what are we going to do about our medicine. We kind of completely forgot that the ultimate natural pharmacy is already present within us.
You know, the whole thing, it has been flipped 180 degrees. The whole world is turned upside down in a sense. There's a beautiful scene from a Franco Zeffirelli movie called Brother, Sun, Sister, Moon, which is about the life of St. Francis. And they're done very well. It's very sweetly, beautifully done. And towards the end of that movie, and these are true, you know, historical facts about St. Francis's life. He gains an audience with the Pope, and him and a few of his disciples or friends, you know, brothers, he called them, I think, they meet with the Pope, and at a certain point, the energy of real God comes down in the space, and St. Francis and the Pope kind of comes to life, played by Alec Guinness in this movie, Brother, Sun, Sister, Moon. You can Google it or YouTube it, I'm sure. And the Pope gets it. It's like he comes out from under all his heavy gold, you know, mantles and silly hats and staffs and gold-encrusted rings and all. He's trapped by all that stuff. And the filmmaker shows him taking it off and walking over to St. Francis, and he wakes up, the Pope gets it and says, in our preoccupation with original sin, we have forgotten the real path of original innocence. And sort of like, so the church has flipped and become preoccupied with original sin, and whatever you focus on is what you create. We are reality-creating machines. Reality-creating flesh bots. I'm joking. Of course we're not. We're these organic, beautiful God pieces. You know, pieces of God. We are made in the source's image. We vibrate at the same frequency. And when we focus on something, we create it. It's just like when you buy a new car, then you start seeing that car everywhere. Or if you're into a particular, you know, type of cat or something, they'll show up everywhere, or anything else. So when you focus on sin, you create more sin. When you focus on, this is not to be Pollyanna about it, but so that has happened everywhere, religious, politics, blah, blah, blah. If you focus on criminals, you create more criminals. If you focus on having to create more laws, all you do is get more and more laws on the books till eventually you can't turn around without breaking a law, you know. And the same with the death, the staving off death, uncaring system. The healthcare system. No, it's like death uncaring system, because it creates death and it's not very caring. If you think about it, there's lots of good people, but the young people that go into medicine, you know, after boot camp, there was a beautiful book written by a doctor who went to the Einstein Medical School in New York City called Playing God, where he truly was very honest about basically the mind cult programming that doctors go through. Sleep deprivation, they have to work, during residency they have to work 100 hours a week, and they are completely shamed by the authority figure above them, the doctor. You know, they're basically told what to think, and this is right, and if you know, it's classic signs of how you brainwash and break people down. It's what the Marine Corps does. I'm kidding, but it's true. We break people down. It's what our school system does, you know, so that in order to become an MD, hopefully it's changing some now. Thank you, God, that I didn't go that way. That is, by a hair's breadth, I became an MD and went through that whole thing. And you really get deprogrammed from being sort of caring for people. You have to be professional. I call it the professional disease. Being a professional means that you divorce yourself from your emotions. Well, that means you're an unfeeling robot. Yeah. So being professional means that you can't feel anything. You treat people like slabs of meat. Even when they put them for surgery, you know how they prep them for surgery? They cover them up, and all they do is expose that one part. So it's a reductionist system. We're not dealing with the whole person. The whole person is gone. All I'm dealing with is their kidney or their throat or larynx or brain or whatever. This is just a piece of mechanized science. I am operating like this, you know. It becomes divorced from emotions and feelings. And when you do that, we are reducing ourselves, and that's when atrocities can take place. It's like that famous psychology experiment that I think they did at Yale University. It was fake, but for the participants, it was real for them, which was they were administering electroshock therapy, electrical shocks to people. And these were intelligent kids at Yale University, one of the top Yale, Harvard, Stanford in the country, but the authority of this leader in the lab code of the experiment, doctor, told them, go ahead, administer it, to the point some people would actually lethally administer electrical dosages because someone told them to do it. No different than in a wartime situation when we're told what to do. So, but in the medical system, we have done the same flip. We're preoccupied with what? Disease, not health. I mean, it's changing now with naturopaths and chiropractic. And, you know, chiropractic was considered voodoo medicine for a long time. You know?
Yeah, just not too long ago.
Yeah. And so we've focused on disease. If you focus on disease, you create more. If you pump out over millions of television sets fear of the flu, you'll sell a lot of flu vaccines, but you're actually going to create more flu. My suggestion is here, let's focus on original innocence. Let's focus on health. Let's focus on what works. Let's focus on, and not being Pollyanna, stupid, blind, and not noticing, but the main focus should be on the solution, on that which will help us, and not that which was, you know, sucks you down into hell, right? So, yeah, the pharmacy thing is amazing. In the recent video I made, 100 years ago, how many people were on pharmacological drugs?
Like none.
None. There was some morphine or laudanum, which is like basically heroin, you know. But you know that Sears used to sell heroin?
Wow. I like that. No.
It was called laudanum. Laudanum was a bottle, a liquid bottle, and they would actually sell the syringes. You can go through old Sears catalogs. I bet you could find it on Google, where you can find laudanum and cocaine. I think they actually sold cocaine at one point, or, you know, a mixture that you could mix up, and they sold the needle with it. This was done through Sears and Roebuck.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was considered sort of a medicine, a painkiller. That was about it. But you didn't have all these other fancy drugs, and certainly no antidepressants or Zoloft or Prozac and all that kind of stuff. So what happened? Have we learned that much more? Or is the truth like that one that doctors know that saw the span from the agricultural, most people growing their own food and eating it from the farm, directly their own farm, or else off their neighbor's farm if they were a teacher or a doctor. And doctors have seen the shift in people's teeth and health from the time when we ate directly from what the earth gave us and sort of lived directly, and now we're not healthier. Any measuring stick should be, are people healthier nowadays? Absolutely not. People are the sickest they've ever been on this planet right now.
Yeah, we're supposed to be the smartest, most advanced society, and, you know, everybody's sick and on drugs. How does that work?
And in that video I mentioned, you know, my girlfriend recently was at a family function where her ex-husband looked at her in shock and awe, and actually said, "You're not on any prescription drugs?"
Yeah.
He couldn't believe it. He asked her again twice. Really? You're not on any prescription drugs?
Mm-hmm.
It's abnormal to not be on prescription drugs. Now let me ask you this.
So right.
Yeah. That's insane. And I remember years ago we were doing some surveys out in a place called Sun City, Arizona, which was Del Webb, the same guy that built Las Vegas, you know, with Bugsy Siegel or whatever. They also built the first retirement cities in America where no one under like 55 was allowed. No kids. You have 100,000 people that are completely, you know, retired. But
hold that right there, Tobias. It's that time. We'll finish this up when we return from this short break. Tobias Lars on Truth Brigade Radio. So much for joining us here tonight. Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. Just like to give a shout out to our listeners, Scotland, UK, Canada, and of course the regulars over on the text chat, truthbrigade.com. If you have any questions or comments for Tobias tonight, please feel free to give us a call at 402-237-2525. That's 402-AFR-2525. Pharmacy of the Mind, the ultimate natural pharmacy, tonight with Tobias Lars, creator of Course of Awakening, which you can find at courseofawakening.com. The topic we are talking about tonight is his latest video, so to get all the information, that's at courseofawakening.com. But Tobias, getting back to the 100,000 dying people in Sun City, please continue.
No, I remember we were doing a survey, some beautiful 80-ish-year-old woman, just a gorgeous, you could tell she'd been a beauty queen, and just soft, just nice soul. And yet she was just suffering. You could feel it energetic, how these synthetic drugs were really, her dry mouth and all kinds of problems, you know. And I always said for years, and by the way, I want to say this, that the medical, I am glad they can set my broken bones and help me with appendicitis or, you know, whatever. Of course there's a place for that. But if doctors take one class in nutrition, and nutrition is considered a nothing, no influence on how our bodies works, that's like saying put sugar in your gas tank. Would you put refined sugar in your gas tank? Well, then don't put it in yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Very good point.
And there's nothing wrong with sugar, but it should probably be done naturally, which is eat the sugar cane, or at most boil it down to the brown natural crystals. But refining and bleaching with chemicals, it's sort of obvious. If Mother Nature made your body, shouldn't you be eating what Mother Nature made for your body? For example, you probably shouldn't be drinking elephant seal milk. You know, it's 56% fat, but it's probably not good for you. The kind of milk that is good for humans is what? Human milk. Hello. It's pretty basic. And here we are drinking all this cow's milk. Which
cows
isn't even...
and goats. It's okay. Cow's milk is for cows.
Yeah.
Goat's milk is
I don't
for
see people out in the field sort of suckling under a cow. Well, that's not natural, so why are you doing it just because it's packaged, pasteurized, blah, 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 and sold to you with giant advertising campaigns? Please don't call me if you're part of the Dairy Council, by the way.
No, I'd love for you to call in, please.
Yeah, there you go. That's good.
We'd love to talk to you.
Yeah, but there's a natural way of being that feeds you perfectly. Right now, Joy and I just picked a bunch of plums that we're going to dry because we can't eat them all at once. And we finished all the apples on the apple tree, and we leave them alone. We don't spray the apples. So 98% of our apples have that little worm in it, you know, that gets seeded in the flower and crawls out. Mm-hmm. And you just cut, big deal. Big deal. You don't eat the worm. You know, this is not tequila. But those apples have a whole different taste. They don't have that beautiful red, shiny, polished, almost plastic look always. but they have a much healthier vibrational feeling to them when you eat them. It is the difference between a vine-ripened tomato that you grew yourself and one you bought in the store. So we know there's a natural frequency. Now, everything is made of atoms. My dad was a nuclear physicist. Now, quantum physics is starting to show us that we are all just made up of frequencies. This is why true masters like Jesus and others can actually turn their bodies back into light, because we are light. Even Genesis says the first thing is what? In the beginning there was what? Light. You know? We are made from light. Before the light came the thought, the consciousness, the point of inception, the true inception, not the Leonardo DiCaprio movie, but the real inception, not that deception, I'm kidding, that's a cool movie too. But the real inception is that we were incepted at the pregnant point at the beginning of the thought of the universe, the true Big Bang, you know? And from that, light was created. Light is electromagnetic radiation, X-rays, ultraviolet, infrared. Hummingbirds can see a lot more of those frequencies than we can. We can learn that too by opening our pituitary gland and learning to see with our third eye. We can start seeing those frequencies as well. We are made up of frequency, right? Then we're physical. Think of this for a moment. When you start out, you are a tiny, tiny little egg. Then you're born as a baby. That's an incredible miracle in itself. From the time you're 5 years old to 10 years later, you have grown, you have doubled in size. You're twice as tall from the time you're 5 till you're 15. What happened? Who did that? What force of life or energy grew you into a 15-year-old versus a 5-year-old? That's an incredible miracle. Would you agree that life force, God, Spirit, whatever you want to call it, knows what they're doing?
Oh, yeah, I tend to think so. At least a little bit more than us.
Yeah, it knows what it's doing. It knows what it's doing. You can say it's God. You can say it's evolution. It doesn't matter. Whatever that is that's growing you, that grows your fingernails, grows your hair, digests your food, makes your heart breathe, makes your heart beat. Yeah, that's a really powerful, intelligent force. Darwin said, you know, whoever created the eyeball, he's like, that's a miracle of creation. Now, there's some argument whether he was talking about God or whatever, but the point is, it's an incredibly intelligent system that can grow your body. I would trust that. Now, if you say it's God, that's pretty intense, or the source of the life force or your higher cosmic intelligence or whatever. Or if you believe in evolution, by the way, they're not mutually exclusive at all, obviously. There's obviously evolution. All you need is a petri dish with fruit flies in it and realize that 3 hours later they've changed. You know, like a few generations.
Leave your compost bin indoors.
There you go. You'll get a bunch of fruit flies.
Don't take the rotten bananas out.
There you go. So evolution happens. But if you believe in evolution, if you believe in 5 billion years of evolution, or if you believe in God, doesn't matter. It knows, either way, exactly what it's doing. Now, let me ask you this. The FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, the last two words there are drug administration. Drug administration.
Fatal drugs allowed.
Yes, drug administering. Their job is to administer drugs to you. And of course, you know, the lobbyists, they work for a drug company and then they become miraculously head of the FDA. Hello, is this, the fox is watching the hen house. You got to look at the money, follow the money. It's not that hard. I'm on my soapbox, I know, but that's what we got to try to get this out to everybody.
Or become vice president or senator. Yeah. It's a revolving door for sure. So they just put on different uniforms.
Right. You work for Monsanto and you're trying to create artificial genetic seeds? Awesome. Let's come to work for us at the Department of Agriculture. That's happening right now. That's not a made-up story. That's going on right now. And so you have to watch the motive. It's like asking Henry Block of H&R Block, do you think it'd be a good idea to get rid of the income tax? That's a ridiculous question because their whole company is based on the fact that the tax code is so difficult to figure out that you have to pay us money.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, the motivation, you know, it's like asking a lawyer, should we get rid of all laws? No, you need me. Or should we simplify it so people don't need lawyers? Absolutely not. I'll be out of a job.
Yeah, or ask drug dealers if they want them to legalize drugs.
Exactly. So we get you. It's easy. Follow the money and follow the motivation behind it. So this natural frequencies that we are, whatever it is that grew you or evolved you or God. So let me ask you. Here's a new synthetic drug, a man-made drug that basically the way drugs are made, you know, like aspirin or whatever. And by the way, Christie, I am getting white willow bark instead of aspirin. Don't worry.
Oh, excellent! All right, I love it.
And I never anywhere. Yeah. So what we do with labs, chemical, pharmaceutical labs, they'll find something in nature that works beautifully. But because you can't patent nature and own it, they will try to create a molecule that mimics it in shape that they can patent and say, this is ours. You know, because if it's natural, it's too cheap. Garlic is too cheap. Honey's too cheap. Vinegar is too cheap, you know. You have to make up something much fancier than what occurs naturally because
God doesn't know what he's doing.
What's that?
Yeah, God just doesn't know what he's doing.
Right. We have to improve on what God made. That's crazy. But so we can patent it, and we can make the pills for 8 cents a pill and charge $9.99 per pill. It's a, you know, 20,000% markup on pharmaceutical drugs. It's a cash business. It's about the money. And that's where the monster gets, you know, the problem becomes because the caring, the health care, the caring part of health is not there. It's death profiteering. It's not health care, it's death profiteering. We profit off of the death of people or off of people being sick. If you make a drug that will heal people in 2 weeks, then they don't buy it anymore. But if you make a drug that they have to take for the rest of their life, it's no different than the tobacco companies. We want you to smoke and be addicted so that you have to buy it for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know?
And then even more.
Right. So the mimicking of that which is natural, we rape what Mother Nature gives us freely, the horn of plenty. We twist it so the body doesn't know what to do with it, because when it's an unnatural chemical, the body has never seen it. You know how deer, when you drive down the road, do you ever feel like the deer, can't you figure out there's a 5,000-pound automobile with giant headlights coming at you? Wouldn't you think the deer would figure out, I probably shouldn't go on the road when I'd see the... No, because through evolution and through genetics for the deer, for millions and millions of years, the car has not existed until the last 100-some-odd years. So it doesn't make sense. This mechanical device makes no sense at all to the deer. We think they're dumb. They're not dumb. It's the same with us. Your body, when it gets a foreign chemical, like some that comes into it, it has no clue what it is, and it is caught like the deer in the headlights and doesn't know how to process it. It just builds up in your kidneys and your liver till one day you get some strange disease. And your doctor slaps a label on it, calling it chronic fatigue syndrome, which simply means we have no effing clue what's going on with you. You're just tired all the time.
Yeah.
It's just a stupid label. It's like you might as well say we have no idea what this is. Chronic fatigue syndrome is just tired all the time. You know, it's like ridiculous. So made-up diseases are cash cows. Made-up diseases. I'll give you one. Do you ever feel anxious? Are there times when you don't want to see people? Do you not wake up in the morning and feel absolutely fantastic all the time? You may have social anxiety disorder. I mean, come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Or veterans come home from war, and do you feel sad? Do you feel down? Come in and take this little pill. You must be suffering from depression. It's a curable illness. I mean, yeah, you know, as I mentioned in the intro, you know, we're talking about disease here. I mean, all it is the opposite of ease.
Yeah. And so we're going to slowly, we're deconstructing the medical system here. There's good people in the medical field, but the danger is when they're just drug pushers. Most doctors have no clue what these drugs do to people.
No.
And they don't have any clue.
No, they're not like purposefully trying to kill anyone. They just don't know. And as we mentioned before, and even doctors we've had on the program admit they were not taught nutrition. But it's that time, so we're going to be right back after this short break. Tobias Lars on Truth Brigade Radio. Thanks for joining us here tonight. Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com, the ultimate pharmacy, the natural pharmacy of your mind, with Tobias Lars tonight. And, I guess we left off talking about dis-ease and, of course, deconstructing the medical establishment, the drugging industry, which essentially is what it is. So, I'm sorry. Continue.
No. And I want to say I've got a close friend who was diagnosed bipolar and went through a terrible schizoid episode from stress and pressure and eating incorrectly and God knows what. And yes, he needs to be on his drugs at the moment. So I'm not saying it doesn't have its place. Fanaticism is a place for everything, and as soon as you say absolutely no, never say never, right? Mm-hmm. Never say never. And but we have to remember that the ultimate healer is this life force inside us, or God, if you want to have it as a personal God. That created it. It's what grew you. Now, I wanted to get back to this. So if you believe in God or the life force within you that knows what it's doing and knows how to beat your heart and heal your body and so forth, smart doctors know. They simply say, we don't heal. I have a challenge to any doctor in the universe. I will bring you a dead body. Can you bring it back to life?
Yeah. Exactly. What I read a quote the other day. It was something like, what is it? Medicine. The art of medicine is distracting the patient while nature does his job.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's absolutely beautiful, and that's the truth. And you'll meet some beautiful doctors that say that. They'll say, look, we don't heal. We just try to get something so people relax enough, have enough belief, placebo effect, so that nature can do its thing. Mm-hmm. Check this out, guys. I think we might have mentioned it before, knee surgery, what do they call it, when your cartilage breaks up and all that?
Arthroscopy?
Yeah, arthroscopy. Mm-hmm. There's a study out there, we got to find this and post it, where they took as a control group. Now, this is serious. Your cartilage is gone, And here's the 3 control groups. One was they scraped the cartilage for the knee problem. The other was they did the other thing they do. There was something with the ligaments, And the third, they did nothing to. So 33% of the group, they did nothing to. One, they did the scraping of the cartilage or something, and the other was they reattached or put a new ligament in there. Of the 3 groups, the one that had nothing done to it, nothing, except they were told they had it done to them, had just as good results as the other 2. Mm-hmm. This is an actual study. A sanctioned medical study. That is crazy, ridiculous. Mm-hmm. The placebo effect is basically your energy decides it's going to be fine. Exactly. And no one can heal unless you get the right thoughts. And, I think most people don't heal because they don't believe they can. And they keep going back to the doctor and they know it's not working, but it's in our mind. As I mentioned in the intro, we can't experience illness and all of these things we talk about without first thinking it. Yeah. And here, every atom, we are made, trillions of atoms are being replaced or reorganized into different cells in our bodies right now. I think we make 1 trillion blood cells every hour. I forget what the number is, right? Mm-hmm. We are remaking cells all the time. That's an amazing pharmacy factory going on, Mm-hmm. And every atom, an atom is basically like standing in the middle of a cathedral. A friend I know mentions this example, and like there's a sugar cube in the middle of the cathedral. That's the protons and in the nucleus, protons and neutrons. Then there's a few specks of dust floating in the sunbeams up there in the high ceiling. Those are the electrons. That's how much space is in every atom. Every atom is 99.99% space, emptiness. Mm-hmm. We are 99.99% space and emptiness. We're just a bunch of energy. Mm-hmm. So if we are energy, can't we rearrange it?
Absolutely.
And what rearranges it is our intention, our consciousness, our wanting it to be so. I watched my Joy's 12-year-old granddaughter about 2 summers ago. We had climbed the top of a mountain. Now, she has a belief that I'm a little clumsy. She believes she's clumsy. It's just a belief pattern. A belief pattern is just an energetic pattern. Mm-hmm. And I watched her as we're going down the mountain. She twisted her ankle, and she started limping. And I'm watching from behind. But then she looked at her friends, and she said, and her soul made a decision, I don't want to have a twisted ankle. Because it was more exciting to run down the mountain with her friends. And I just watched her make the decision, and her energy shifted. No, my ankle's fine. And she just took off down the mountain. It's the same thing we do with our kids. When the baby falls, the 3-year-old falls down, and then it looks at mommy and goes, how should I react?
Yeah, exactly. Am I supposed to cry? Am I supposed to laugh?
Yeah. And if if the parents freak out and go, oh my God, you're going to hurt you, then the child starts crying immediately. And if the parent goes, you're fine, come over here, you'll be all right, then the child shakes it off.
Exactly. I'm sorry, Tobias. It's that time, so hold that right there. We will be right back after this short break. Tobias Lars on Truth Brigade Radio. Back. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Top of the second hour with Tobias Lars on Truth Brigade Radio, delving into the pharmacy of the mind, the ultimate natural pharmacy tonight. Tobias Lars, author of Listening to the Sun and Awakening Souls, soulcounseling.com or courseofawakening.com is the website. I shouldn't waste too much time here. I just realized it's that short segment. Yeah. So if you would, please continue.
So I know we've been laying the groundwork. Who would you trust? A government institution that's named the Food and Drug Administration, that is populated with people that work for drug companies, the revolving door and lobbyists for the drug companies, that test a drug for 2 years, and then they shove it out on the market. Would you trust that 2-year testing by vested interest, the fox in the henhouse? Or would you trust God? Or would you trust evolution that knows what it's doing with your body, whatever the life force is in you? Which pharmacy would you like to go to? Here's evolution's pharmacy, and here's the money pusher, drug pusher's pharmacy. Which one do you want to go to?
Father God, Mother Nature's been working out pretty well for, I don't know, how many billions of years?
A long time. 5 billion on this planet and 15 billion for the whole universe.
Wow.
So that's the choice. And this natural pharmacy, which we're going to talk about here in the second hour, the first hour we've been trying to deconstruct and get us to wake up a little bit here about this. This natural pharmacy is inside us. The ultimate perfect molecules that are made by the life force that knows how to grow your fingernails, digest your food, beat your heart, grow your hair, heal your body. When you cut yourself, isn't that a miracle that the body knows exactly how to grow it back and stop? It knows exactly where to do it. It knows what you need. It knows your perfect chemistry inside. All these supplements, even natural supplements, we're going to kind of dig into them a little bit here too. But what I trust is that what makes my chemicals, my serotonin, my dopamine, my endorphins, my dimethyltryptamine, my melatonin. What makes these naturally occurring chemicals that are in my brain? When a baby is born, it has never taken a pill, but it has all these chemicals in its brain already. Who made that? Mm-hmm. Not GlaxoSmithKline Beecham, blah, 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 blah. They didn't make those. Somebody made those, and they're a lot more pure and bioavailable and assimilable and able to be used by the body than anything synthetic.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And it knows when to release endorphins. And, you mentioned in your video SSRI, serotonin, or SR, whatever. Serotonin reuptake inhibitors. It's like we're purchasing a drug to stop our natural pharmaceutical supply. It doesn't make any sense. No, take this one. Don't take your own. We need to inhibit it.
Exactly. It's the same thing as antibiotics. Look at the word, antibio. Bio means life, biological. We take anti-life drugs to kill not only the bacteria in our, but everything else in our gut. And then we wonder why we're susceptible to other stuff, or, it's crazy. Like, you don't use an atom bomb to kill a mosquito, and basically most of these drugs are like using an atom bomb to kill a mosquito.
Absolutely. Hold that right there, though. We are going to be right back and delve further into the pharmacy of the mind with Tobias Lars on Truth Brigade Radio. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. If you would like to join us for the text chat tonight, that's over at truthbrigade.com, our lovely little star family. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to give us a call at 402-237-2525. That is 402-AFR-2525. The ultimate natural pharmacy, the pharmacy of the mind, with our special guest, Tobias Lars, tonight. He is a personal awakening coach and soul counselor. CourseOfAwakening.com or InnerBodyAwakening.com. If you have not looked into the Inner Body Awakening, I would highly recommend doing so. In fact, I know I talked with a couple of you in the text chat just today about that, so no time like the present. But Tobias, please continue. Getting back to this, our natural brain chemicals. So I guess, you mentioned before it's been, about 100 years that we've progressed into this disease, dead-end drugged state?
Yes. It's the anti-method, antibiotics. It's anti-life. What do you think your precious system is going to do with 9 synthetic prescription drugs? It's some amazing statistic that the average retired person is on 6, 7, 8, or 9 prescription drugs. What does that do to our poor liver? So we know the problem.
Or our children, or our DNA.
Yeah. Oh, God, and then we're drugging the kids. Yeah, so let's focus on the solution here. The solution is the natural pharmacy. Like we said, the baby is born with a natural pharmacy. Perfect brain chemistry, balance, and all that. Once you start tweaking something and trying to, you apply this, then you have to dilute it with that, and then you got to add that to counteract that effect. Leave it alone. Leave it to God's source, the chemical natural balances in your body. Here, I'll give you an example. Morphine, we've heard of. Morphine is strictly controlled. It is sort of it's like heroin, much stronger than heroin. Morphine is used, in hospice and end of life to alleviate suffering for people. It's very strictly, one of the most strictly controlled drugs for medical doctors. Morphine is only a fraction as strong as our endorphins. The endorphins, the beta endorphins, I think, in your brain are 4 times, 400%, 4 times as strong as morphine. The beta endorphins in your brain, in our brain, that naturally are made, they can't be outlawed, right? Because they're made by your brain, are 400% stronger than morphine. Now, if that's not an unbelievable pharmacy that knows exactly how and when to administer that in perfect dosages, you don't have to rely on a doctor that's sort of guessing, take 3 of these a day. You know?
Yeah.
It knows exactly how much you need and when you need it. Your adrenals know how to do it. Your thymus at your heart. Now, here's the gland system. The glands produce hormones and chemicals and chemistry, natural chemistry. Your spinal column is the pillar of fire that spoke to Moses. This is when your spinal column, the Hindus, the Vedas, the yogic practices, Patanjali, etc., all that, the Ida and the Pingala are those 2 snakes going up the caduceus. We ever wonder why there's 2 snakes in the medical symbol and then angels' wings on top? Because those 2 snakes are these 2 life forces that are going up your spinal column. And when they are activated and flowing, when you get the shivers up and down your spine, when you feel like you're in love, you feel like you're floating. When you're in love, nothing can hurt you. When you feel that feeling of love and just feeling incredibly good, your chemistry is orgasmic. When your chemistry is orgasming, no little bacteria can go all crazy on you. They're a virus. They just can't do it. They can't get a foothold in you. So how do we do this? Meditation. 1 full divine breath. Breathing the life force. Relaxing. Becoming peaceful. Feeling happy, good, feeling God and good. The inner body awake. I don't mean to be on my soapbox tonight, but it's like I've got 50 years of this stuff stored up in my body in 5,000 lifetimes. You know, try to get it out there to all of us.
Yes.
Yeah, and so when you have this energy flowing in you, the life force, you know, the Holy Ghost, the Kundalini, the Spirit, it is what regulates your body chemistry. So before the chemistry comes this life force. Contact that. The inner body awakening is an unbelievable direct experience and experiment with feeling your inner life force. When you do that, you are stoking the fire in your belly, the fire in your crotch. Can I say that? Hello, Louie. How you doing? The fire in your heart, the fire in your throat, the fire in your brain, the whole flaming you, all right? You know, the whole. Do you ever wonder why it says there's holy tongues of fire on the Pentecost? What's that about? Because we are fire. This is God fire. This is the Holy Spirit Kundalini life force. Nothing can survive that. No bacteria or virus has a chance, you know. So that's the way to do it. Get that going. Then your pituitary gland, which is not the pineal gland, which is a whole other show, but the pituitary gland is the master hormone regulator for your whole body. So if you can relax that, it gets the appropriate blood flow. You know, you can just sense it and feel it. You can pray while you're doing it. God, please regulate my whole system. I surrender to that which is natural, feeling your inner body. Then you can feel your thyroid is right behind your Adam's apple. You know, if people have thyroid problems, they're hyper or hypothyroid, the iodine supplements and all that. Well, iodine supplements are not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is to have your thyroid working perfectly. Then you have your thymus gland on your heart. It needs to secrete and do its thing. You have the pancreas. You have the gallbladder. You have your adrenal. You have the cortisone thing. Hey, guys want to get rid of your bellies, guys out there? Do this. Do the inner body awakening, and you'll have a natural fat reduction. When this fire is burning in you, guess what it burns off? It burns off all that fat you don't want. And it makes you feel good. It makes you feel good. Natural growth hormone. Don't do steroids. Don't shoot growth hormone intravenously. Let it be produced naturally by your pituitary gland. And then your ovaries or your testes, you know, that's testosterone, progesterone, estrogen, all that. All that needs to be balanced perfectly. And it will do that when you activate your inner fire through a meditation technique, through a breathing technique, through just relaxing, playing with your dog, going out in nature, just breathing properly. Open up and breathe some real oxygen, you know. That makes you feel really, really oxygenated, surprise, surprise. And the oxygenation will automatically start detoxing you. The thing to remember is that this fire up and down your spinal column, that's the life force. That's what doctors cannot put back into you once you're dead. That's your spirit. That spirit, that soul, that is the creator of your perfect pharmacy. Let's go back to that perfect creator energy, natural, evolutionary, spirit energy inside us, and let it run your pituitary, which runs the whole rest of your body. You know, now supplements are helpful once in a while, but if you become dependent even on natural supplements, it just meant occasionally we need some rebalancing, or like a homeopathy, or sort of a little extra help with something. But you're meant to not be taking anything except direct sunlight and oxygen. Direct sunlight and oxygen are the only materials you essentially need to stoke the fire inside yourself. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I totally agree. And, I mean, you know, it's the same thing. And, you know, I'm into herbs and such, but, you know, they're good for when something is off balance. You don't want to get addicted or dependent on any of that. We should be getting our nutrition with proper choices in our diet so that we don't need to fall back on a supplement of any kind to begin with. But certainly, you know, getting our natural pharmacy to work, Tobias, is almost impossible when we're eating processed foods, when we're taking drugs that are suppressing our immune system, or drinking fluoridated water, leaving mineral deposits behind in our pineal gland and other areas. So or you know, let me ask you this. Maybe there is a way. Maybe we can take in all of those toxins and the brain work right. Is that possible?
If your fire is burning bright enough, it will burn all of that stuff off. But the best thing is to eat as natural as possible. Don't get fanatic with fear. You know, F and F is not good. Fanatic fear is the word. So, you know, your body is very strong. We are made up of energy. I can convert the bacon. You know, pray for the pig. You know, whatever. If you you know, don't be fanatic. But gradually, right on. By the way, the word supplement.
We were talking about the thoughts and stuff, and, you know, just about the fanatical thing, like, oh my gosh, I can't eat that, or I'm going to be unclean, or if I have one microwaved thing, or one piece of pork, or one processed cracker, you know, it's going to kill me, it's going to give me cancer. If you keep telling yourself that, well, it sure as hell will.
Right. Once in a while.
It's very powerful. I mean, that doesn't mean load up, but yeah, I mean, I agree with you. You can't be a fanatic.
Exactly, because that which you repress will come back and bite you in the ass. I mean, that's how it works, you know. If you suppress it, it will come back with a vengeance, you know. By the way, I was going to say the word supplement means it's just supposed to be that, supplemental, meaning not the main thing. It's just sort of a little supplement once in a while. You know, they're supplements. They're not the main thing. The main thing is made by your body. It is made inside you in your chemical factory that God and evolution made inside you. It's amazing. And so if we remember that comes first. That comes first. Then these supplements, as needed once in a while. If you find a good naturopath or your own intuition, or body kinesiology, you can feel, I want that. Christie told me, you know, recently sent me a peppermint bottle, and I'm putting a drop of peppermint in my water as I want it. And then at a certain point, I've had enough. Then I'll need
your body.
My body
tells you when you need it, doesn't it?
Right. That's right. Like I haven't eaten almonds now for 6 months, and now I'm back onto them. because now it wants it again. Here comes the colder season. You know, I haven't had garlic for 9 months, but now I might be having. I'm listening, and I ask. You literally can ask your body, what do you want? I want cinnamon. Cinnamon? Why do you want cinnamon? I don't know, but I want cinnamon.
Exactly.
You know?
Listen.
And the only time, and we make fun of it in our culture, that most of us humans are still in touch with what we really ought to be eating is when pregnant women say, I have a craving for this. You know, it often doesn't make sense. Or watch your dog. You ever wonder, I got to tell you this. I had a little girl and her daddy walk by outside here, and Bentley, my dog that you know, Christie, the golden retriever here.
Oh, yes, we do know. Snick knows him better than I do, though.
Yeah. More direct contact, shall we say. All right, that's enough of that.
Of course.
And so this little girl and her daddy were walking by, and the little girl wanted to say hello, and she had this beautiful leaf from a very exotic big heart-shaped leaf. And she said, can I give it to him? And I said, well, I don't know if he'll take it. Bentley took the leaf and ate it.
Aww, how sweet.
Now, I don't know what's going on and what he needs, but he felt he needed that leaf.
Aww, that's
dogs?
Great.
No, we've all watched our dog eat grass, and you're like, why are you doing that? Because they know they need that. Or watch a horse or a cow choose what grasses it wants to eat, and just feel how their taste and smell is saying, I need this, I need that. And I know Christie has had people on that say similar thing. Just put it in your mouth and listen to what your body says. Does your body want to ingest that or not? We can go back and have the same intuitive abilities that our animals do, and we will know exactly what's right for us to eat at the right time. That automatically will balance, support our fire within, the Kundalini, the Holy Ghost Spirit, and also be a supplement, a natural supplement. Food is a supplement. Food is a supplement. Now I'm going to go very radical here for a minute. Originally, we're not even meant to eat anything on this planet. You've heard of breatharians that live simply, not by bread alone, but by the what? The very word. What's the word? The word is this electromagnetic energy from the source of God. We live off of that primarily. There are documented cases you cannot argue with of people not eating for 50-plus years. There's several of them alive right now in India. There was a Catholic saint, I forget her name, of Catherine Neumann in Bavaria in the 1930s. Didn't eat a thing for 30 years. All she had was the wafer, like the Holy Communion, and she lived fine. So this blows our little damn rules about you got to eat food. No, you don't. You can live off directly of energy. You really can. I know some of people out there going, okay, that's too much, Tobias. That's too far out. I understand.
No.
But the point is a little shock therapy that the fact is we live primarily off the life force of Source that comes in through our medulla oblongata at the back of our neck. That's where the mouth of God breathes life into our whole Kundalini spinal column system that then feeds the rest of our whole body. So if you can commune with that, communion, come oneness, come union back to me, I and my Father are one, this stuff really works. But just like anything else, you can watch someone ride a bicycle, but if you want to ride a bicycle, you got to get on it and learn to ride it. This stuff works. There's 1,000 different ways. I'm offering 2 of the most powerful, practical methods I know and I've come across with my clients and myself. The InnerBodyAwakening.com and AlchemyProcess.com are direct ways of working with the life force. The life force. And by the way, if anyone doesn't have the money to buy those, they're inexpensive, email me. I can help you out. You got to tell me truly. I will smell you out. And if you're lying to me, you need to pay because we're still working with
double
money.
If you lie.
Yeah, I'm just teasing. But
Okay, hold that right there, Tobias. It's that time, but we will be right back after this short break. Tobias Lars, Inner Body Awakening or AlchemyProcess.com. Check it out. Stay tuned. Truth Brigade Radio. Welcome back. Raising a little hell tonight here, Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com with Tobias Lars tonight. InnerBodyAwakening.com or AlchemyProcess.com. But Tobias, let's get right back into it. Lots of questions in the text chat. In fact, one that kind of surprised me. It was on the agenda for us to talk about tonight. What is DMT?
Dimethyltryptamine is a naturally occurring chemical that the pineal gland produces. The pineal gland is a small acorn pineal-shaped gland in the middle of our brain, sort of pretty much center of the brain, right behind your third eye. It has the same type of cells as the retinal cells in your eye inside it. That doesn't make sense. It has no lens. It's an enclosed system, but it has the same exact photoreceptors as on the back of your eyeball. What is that about? Well, that's the third eye. It's the third eye. Dimethyltryptamine is a molecule that opens up the gate for naturally visionary seeing, like peyote, like ayahuasca, and LSD did, although LSD was a synthetic chemical that was accidentally discovered by Albert Hofmann, a Swiss chemist. But in my opinion, it was actually divinely guided to try to give us a 2x4 to the head to start realizing that what we see is not all that's here. Just like little kids see the fairies and the gnomes and the goblins, and our cat and dog see the spirits in the house, and you catch it out of the corner of your eye too, and many of us have seen it. DMT is a naturally occurring chemical that is secreted by the pineal gland, and apparently, from studies now, in large doses during birth and during death. You can also naturally stimulate it by naturally stimulating your life force. Kundalini awakening, Kriya Yoga, breathing exercises. The safe path to this is to love. It's through the heart. That's why Jeshua ben David taught that. That's why true masters include a type of devotion or love for Source, for God, or respect for other humanity. Buddha doesn't talk about God per se, but he talks about an absolute respect for all living things and helping all living things. This is the safe path to allow this natural visionary chemical called dimethyltryptamine to occur. It also occurs in thousands of plants, by the way. It's just that when you eat things, the reason cows aren't all laying on their backs staring at the sky, I'm teasing, is because we have enzymes in our gut that break down the dimethyltryptamine. Naturally, our enzymes break it down when you do it through the gastrointestinal tract. But with ayahuasca, there's an inhibitor there, or a neutralizing is the easy way to say it, of that oxidase inhibitor anyway, that allows the DMT to pass the blood-brain barrier. And that's why ayahuasca is one of the most visionary medicines in the world, and you get a glimpse of what it's like to die. It's also called the Vine of the Dead, ayahuasca. By the way, we're going here in October, and we've already got 3 or 4 people that want to come with us next April to our healing retreat with ayahuasca down in the Peruvian Amazon as well.
That's coming up just in 2 weeks, Tobias. So we better get that out. That's spirittravel.com, where you can get information about that. That's 1T, spirittravel.com, to find out more about the ayahuasca adventure. I guess, 2 weeks you'll be there?
That's right. Actually, I can't make it this time, but my partners Jill and Casey are down there. They own the property, and they will be taking care of the people that are going.
Okay.
I don't go on all of them, but we've got several people going this time, and I will be on the one in April, is what it looks like. So, yeah, so the natural pharmacy, my whole encouragement with this, Bentley has now heard me talking about him eating that plant leaf, so he's now crawling all over me wanting to participate here. That's my dog. Don't you know I'm doing the radio show? You can't do this. Anyway, so the natural pharmacy, the natural pharmacy is the ultimate pharmacy, of course. Who made it better? Evolution, God, you know. They know what they're doing. The stars know what they're doing. Your body and brain chemistry knows exactly what it's doing. So let it do its thing for you, is what I suggest.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Now, okay, so DMT is naturally created in our brain, but it is also highly illegal. Why is that?
Yeah, that's kind of funny. It's like outlawing mother's milk or something, you know? Yeah. Which, by the way, I'm sure, you know, a few corporations that make formula would probably like to do that, you know? They'd like to outlaw mother's milk. And,
or just put you in jail for breastfeeding.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but yeah, DMT is a naturally occurring brain chemical that has been outlawed by the U.S. government. But I would suggest that is because it's been isolated, and you know, it's like if you drink vanilla extract, that's not that healthy for you. If you take white refined sugar, it's usually not that healthy for you. Hello, sugar diabetes. Isn't it interesting that they took the sugar out of the sugar diabetes? They used to call it sugar diabetes. Can you say lobbyists from the sugar industry that said, can you please just call it diabetes and not sugar diabetes? Because it's kind of too obvious where it comes from. But yeah, DMT is a naturally occurring chemical that has currently been outlawed in its concentrated or pure form. There is a church from Brazil that the Supreme Court allows to take ayahuasca and so, in a sacramental, supplemental form as part of their church services. I predict in about 10 years or so it'll be legal in lots of countries, because we're going to realize what a powerful healer, an amazing medicine. Ayahuasca does miraculous things. Physical, emotional, spiritual, soul healing. It's just amazing. There's whole foundations down in Peru that heal drug addicts from all over the world go. They're hardcore. They have to be ready, because this is not sort of a Band-Aid. It is a thorough, deep healing of this root problem and not covering it up. Yeah. So yeah, DMT, dimethyltryptamine. There's a book out called The Spirit Molecule by Rick Strassman. That's a very powerful book that explains. It's called DMT, The Spirit Molecule.
Yeah, excellent book. You know, I just looked at the clock, and realized we're running out of time, and we have a couple callers on the line. But our first call, it says John Doe, and for some reason I don't believe that, but welcome.
Hey, Toby, how you doing? Let me ask you this.
John Doe, okay, Chris Geo. Why does it say John Doe here?
I think anytime somebody's through Skype, Danny has it set to whoever the last person called.
Oh, because I have a friend named John Doe. And anyways, okay, never mind. All right, welcome, Chris Geo. How you doing tonight?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Let me ask you, what do you think is the difference between a Syrian rue and mimosa combination versus a bee cappy and ayahuasca combination?
Well, you know, I've not done those. I've simply done... I've done a little bit of research on it, but I really can't speak from personal experience. But in general, the feeling that I get with ayahuasca and when you do different medicinal plants, you actually, each plant has its own frequency, its own spirit, is what the shamans will say. If you take the ayahuma tree or, you know, different plants like eucalyptus has its own spirit. It's a very strong healing medicine. We know that. You can actually, so when you go through an apprenticeship with the shamans, you will dieta, you will do a diet of a particular plant to get to know its secrets. So I'm sure Syrian root and mimosa and has its own flavoring, teaching, its own spirit I would suggest that Mother Ayahuasca, is sort of the mother plant of all plants, that she has different servants or different parts of her that have specific frequencies meant for different things. That's my understanding. That's what I was shown in ceremony. I'm not a full-fledged ayahuasquero by any means. I'm still learning all that stuff. But so I would suggest it has its own different texture, taste, frequency, different expertise, specialty.
Well, you, sir, are no Bobby Morningwood. I'm just
You're right.
Filling in for Louis B. And while we're on the subject of Louis B., I just want to mention Chris Gio and I are going to fill in again for him right after our show over at irritatethestate.net. He will be joining us live from the hospital bed, and he is doing better, and he expects to be home tomorrow. So, anyways, yeah.
That's
good one.
Question for your kids. I had to throw that in. No disrespect at all, Tobias. I knew you would laugh. I have to ask you, when are you going, and how can we come with you down to the Amazon?
Well, just get a hold of me. It's, Spirit Travel or info@spirittravel.com. I go on the site, spirittravel.com with one T, click on the ayahuasca link on the left, read that whole page, the dates, the cost, the details, what to bring, all the details are right there, and email me at info@spirittravel.com, and we'd love to set it up. I love working with Jill and Casey because they have balanced the masculine and the feminine, which I think is really key at this time. And the shamans are, there's a woman and a man shaman that have 50 years of traditional native, in the jungle, Indian, native people experience. And that's why I like it. And Jill is really in charge of it, and she's a woman, and she's, I don't know. There's just something nice about the feminine sort of being in charge for a while, because, we men get a bad rap, and I'm tired of that.
Nice.
Let's see what you women can do.
Fluffy and warm and.
Okay, excellent. I'll take a look at that for sure.
Thank you.
And I might be joining you, so I'm going to have a look at that. Thank you very much for taking the call.
Awesome. Thanks for calling.
Well, thanks for calling in, Chris. Or John Doe. All right, have a good night. Our next caller tonight is Russ. How you doing tonight, Russ?
Well, good evening, Christie.
Hi, Russ.
Howdy. Well, I really was listening. I'm fascinated by this concept of the mind pharmacy thing. I find that the walking with the spirit, I don't know, it's been 25 years since I've seen a doctor, maybe 26 now, and I'm healthier than I've ever been. And I just, anybody who's listening who don't believe, listen and do it. It works.
Yeah.
I really didn't have a question. I was just listening.
That's beautiful,
okay.
Russ. That's beautiful. There's no better pharmacist than the Holy Ghost and the Holy Spirit and the God force and the life force. It's the ultimate pharmacist. It made all the chemicals and molecules, so who would know better?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's true. But I do have a stupid question, and I know there aren't any stupid questions, but the ones not asked. Why, in your opinion, why am I unable to, the only thing that I can't seem to manage any kind of repair on, I know that my liver I was ready to die from a toxic liver, and I changed the lifestyle, and my lifestyle was changed, and a year later it was back to the same way it was when I was 12 years old, and there's medical proof. But my teeth, what is it with teeth? Is there something we know that, or is it just me?
Your teeth. You say your liver got healed?
Oh, yeah, no, I know that the liver and I know of several things of all the years of abuse I put upon them. I damaged them, and then later, when I quit abusing them, the test told me that they were perfect. There was nothing. There wasn't even any indication that they were ever damaged. But my teeth are rotting out of my mouth, and it doesn't seem to matter how good a care I take of them. They just.
Yeah. Why don't you Google Chinese medicine teeth? What teeth represent? It has to do with and literally sinking your teeth into something.
Yeah, hold that right there, Tobias. We'll pick this up when we return after this short break. Truth Brigade Radio. I'm back. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com with Tobias Lars, talking about the pharmacy of the mind, the ultimate natural pharmacy. CourseOfAwakening.com is where you can see the latest video, what we were talking about tonight, the pharmacy of our minds, and videos that he adds every week there, full-length videos, very healing, extremely informative. CourseOfAwakening.com, and don't forget to try InnerBodyAwakening.com for a true awakening. And, I like how you said earlier, Tobias, about, if you want to lose weight or get to, start that fire in your system, but you can also, kind of perform like energy body surgery with your mind, really. And so InnerBodyAwakening.com is definitely one of the steps to help get you there. Of course, Russ is on the line, and Tobias, I don't know anything about what teeth represent in Chinese medicine. I know a little bit about dream interpretation, but I guess this is real life. So what does that mean? Or I guess, is that what you're asking, Russ? Was that your question? What does it mean?
Well, no, just why am I not successful in all these things that Tobias is talking about are real. I've lived them or living them. And I have my thoughts, but I just wanted to hear what Tobias's thoughts were on why I have not been successful in keeping my teeth.
Right. So let me ask you this, Russ. Can I tell you? I'll just tell you what I received intuitively. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Okay. So in your life, have you been an incisive, now like incisors, right? Have you been an incisive truth teller in this lifetime, sort of fearless teller of truth, whether it's sort of rattled cages or pushed boundaries? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So
I've been a manipulator of truth.
Yes. See, you're hitting it exactly. Okay. This is not bad, but the universe likes balance. Would you agree?
Yes.
That there's an equal and opposite. Everything balances. God is everything left, right, up, down, so forth. So you have been a force for incisive, using your bite, your incisors, for telling truth. This, in a way, has created, and again, take this with a grain of salt and filter it through your own truth, this has created a push of the pendulum a bit out into incisor land, you understand? And the balancing that I received, I heard for you intuitively, would that Russ, to balance himself, would speak some soft words, some loving words, some kind words. Truth is good. Truth is very good. But love is also patient. Love is kind. Love is truth. But love is not only truth. Love is also compassion and sometimes being quiet. So if Russ can speak some loving words and occasionally not speak at all, I'm being very direct with you now, and occasionally speak some loving words towards himself, then this pendulum would balance, and this natural balancing from being a crusader knight would help Russ to balance, if that makes sense. Loving, kind words. Sweet words, Russ, which might be a stretch. It's a stretch for men that are sort of strong and forceful and truthful to speak sweet words. It's sort of, we're comfortable with telling truth, but we have a hard time sometimes. I don't know if that applies to you. I'm just saying what I'm getting. One more thing, then respond to me. The other thing, let's see if I can remember. Feel just simply when you lay down and relax, or you're sitting relaxed, simply put your attention on your teeth. Just be with them. notice them and just let the energy sort of build and do what it wants. It's just the practical physical healing of it. Let the energy circulate through your mouth. Just notice your teeth, your gums, like all your attention, not with force, but simple attention on your teeth. Those two things will help rebalance this imbalance in energy. That's what I get.
Cool. Well, I mean, honestly, there isn't much left. There isn't much left, but just the front ones, and they're even deteriorating. But no, you were spot on with what you say, and I don't believe that being a male of this species requires me to be always strong. And I think when I say manipulating the truth, I either twisted it to benefit myself or I withheld it to benefit myself. One out of greed and avarice, and the other one out of fear. And hopefully a lot of that's moved past. But so it's better we learn, even if late. And at the same time, just a fact. For 10 years of my life, it was over-fluorinated. And I'm done. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I'm sorry we're out of time, but, well, I don't know, Tobias. That's not Russ. What do you think, Russ?
God bless. God bless.
I think he nailed it. My goodness. Thanks for calling in, Russ and Tobias. Your beautiful, gentle, loving insight. I just feel so blessed and honored to have you here. And lots of love to you from the chat room. Thank you. Thank you very much. SpiritTravel.com. That's one T in the middle. InnerBodyAwakening.com. And don't forget, CourseOfAwakening.com. Listening to the Sun and Awakening Souls, you can find at the website. Awesome read. Thank you all for being here tonight. Abundant blessings and love.